What is good, everybody? Welcome to episode 94 of the Gaming Duo Podcast. I'm Kelvin, the Kevlar Vest, your host for this week, and I'm joined by co-host Robert Garcia, or better known as Rob the Robot. If you're new to the show, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Of course, we are the podcast that discusses the latest gaming news each and every Wednesday, live on YouTube, and post for your ears Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm swell. You know what I mean? I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic.
You know, I just caught myself on a technical standpoint. I was talking through my headset mic, and you didn't tell me. Ooh. So good thing I looked.
You sounded great.
Oh, well, it was not. It was the regular mic. It was the... That's... Okay, guys, as an advertisement. SteelSeries Arctis Pro Wireless. It sounds amazing, apparently.
Now I'm nervous. Let me check if my audio's...
No, I think...
Yeah,
I think,
I'm good.
You're good.
Good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I sound like sexy? Do I sound good?
You sound great, man. You sound really good. You look good, too. You look good. You got a new scenery in the background. I see that, right?
Yeah, if you want to... We want to go ahead and show... This is the new office. Right now, you just see a door and a desk behind me and a little thing. I had to rearrange a bunch of stuff to make it work. So I'm not going to be as crazy with like the way it was before, but that's okay. Maybe I'll make my work desk nice and gamerified or something. But
it looks great. It looks great, man. Rob, we have a lot to talk about, but I really don't want to rush. I don't want to rush this. You know what I mean? Like I hate when we rush into like the gaming news. Let's just talk about. Like I like the first 5-10 minutes of it just catching up, talking, you know, just kind of like
a little bit of foreplay, right? A little bit of foreplay,
some foreplay. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, what have you been playing since the last time I spoke to you?
Well, I haven't really been able to play a ton because I just moved into a new house. So, like I said, moving was a big, huge thing. All my stuff was everywhere. I just happened to scramble my desk together to get all the podcast stuff set up. But I have been playing one game. And that game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. No, I did play. I did play Marvel Snap, but
you did okay.
I played more like today a little bit.
Okay, and it's still not. It's just not grabbing you.
It's not hooking. You know why? It's because I played a game called Slay the Spire, and I just like that game better.
Is it better? You think it's just better?
I think it's better. I think it's better.
Is it more strategic? Is it just like what's grabbing you?
It's a card game plus it's a rogue type. They put the two together. So it's sick. It's like rogue type / RPG / tactical card deck builder. I'm telling you, it's on Game Pass. Go play it. It's fucking awesome.
Okay, all right. I mean, I could play on my Steam Deck too. You know.
Yeah. What are you playing?
So I beat Plague's Tale.
Yep.
Right. Requiem. That was great. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But I've been playing that. I've dabbled a little bit with. Obviously, I've been playing Marvel Snap a lot and As Dusk Falls, I think is the name of the game. That's on Game Pass as well.
Okay.
And I played maybe like 10 minutes of that, but it automatically kind of hooked me because there's like really deep story. Kind of reminds me of like Heavy Rain and like Quantum Break or things like that, like that type of game where like you have to like choose your path in the game. But so far so good. You know, I like the art style. Everything looks pretty good there. So yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm playing a decent amount of games right now with the cards that I've been dealt with right now with, having, going back to work and the baby and all that stuff.
Right. Oh, yeah, you just went back to work today from paternity
leave. Just
started
started yesterday. And so, yeah, it's been,
it's a good time.
It's been rough, but it's been good at work. Like it's fine. But regardless, yeah, I'm having a great time.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Good to hear. Does your Steam Deck make it easier for you to play games on the go now? Or you're still
100%, dude.
Okay.
I haven't played on my Steam Deck in a couple days, but I think it's just because of the change in scenery now with like me going into work and all that stuff. So I'm like, I kind of put it back in the back burner. But yeah, that thing makes it so much easier to play games. Like I've been playing more games nonstop because of the Steam Deck. So get a Steam Deck if you can.
But yeah, get a Steam Deck if you can afford it. Elder Trolls is commenting, you guys always on YouTube? And the answer is not always. It's kind of a newer thing, right? I would say. We're doing it for a few weeks.
Yeah, I would say maybe a little bit over a month at this point. But yeah, we are on YouTube now, live streaming it Wednesdays, posting the streaming platforms for everything on Fridays.
Yeah. Nasty Nate, that's who's talking right now. If you guys haven't heard of the Elder Scrolls Gaming Podcast, go check him out. It's actually 3 brothers, and one of the brothers actually kind of looks like Kratos. Like if he actually like put like the ashes on his skin, and like he has a beard. He has a Kratos beard. I wish I had a picture of him right now.
Beard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, check him out. They're great.
We had Nasty Nate on our episode as well, and on our podcast.
We did have him on this episode. We did.
Yep, absolutely. But guys, if you guys want to support us, now I know you guys are watching. I know you guys are listening at the very least. I see the numbers. I see the downloads. I see the numbers. You guys could support us. You know what I mean?
I see the numbers.
I see them. Don't be hiding. You know what I mean? I see them. So if you guys want to support us, you can do so by heading on over to your favorite streaming platform, Apple, Spotify, or by going on to thegamingduopod.com. Leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Give us a good rating, a bad rating. Just let us know how we're doing so we can improve on the podcast.
But if we're doing a bad job, please don't leave us a 1-star review. Just
that's
talk to us first, and we'll change it up. So.
Yeah, let us know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can also support us by going on to patreon.com/thegamingduo. If you want to leave us a couple bucks, that'd be fantastic. Otherwise, everything, just you guys supporting us by commenting, sharing, all that good stuff. We appreciate it so much. Speaking of shout outs, though, thank you to our Patreon, Hopple. Thank you for being so awesome and supporting us, and we really appreciate you just giving us a support and just helping us out with the little podcast that we have. So thank you so much, Hopple.
Thank you very much, Hopple. We appreciate you.
Rob, we got some stuff to talk about.
We got some juice.
Let's start with news number 1 with PlayStation. I feel like this is a very PlayStation-centric episode.
Oh, yeah. It's a big one.
PlayStation loses over 2 million subscribers after the relaunch of PlayStation Plus. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, man, like, what is going on here, right?
Now, it's not all like doom and gloom, though. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, since PlayStation has launched the 3-tier service, which is Essentials, Plus, and Extra, in June, they have lost a total of 2 million subscribers since the service changed. However, this is probably due to the fact that the tiers are a little bit more pricier, right? There were definitely kind of like back and forth, especially when we were talking about it with like how, like, are we going to really continue paying for PlayStation Plus? Should we get PlayStation Plus, or should we kind of back out? So that's kind of a lot of the back and forth coming on. But the amount of revenue Sony is bringing actually has increased by 10%, which is about 788 million.
Which is wild to me, compared to they lost people. That just goes to show you how much money Sony can actually make. Like,
right.
People are saying like Xbox is killing. No, Sony always kind of is killing it. They're like the main kings, right? From PS2 era. Like,
right.
Don't forget that.
Well, let's talk about it. So is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? Like, it sounds like a doom and gloom thing, but if you look at it, the revenue is up 10%. So is it really bad?
No, I don't think this is a bad thing, because what's going to happen is they're seeing the subscribers. Yes, they still have the revenue, but that's not going to happen for long, right? The revenue is not always going to be there. Mm-hmm. This tells me that they're going to have to change up their service a little bit, at least make it more competitive, offer more things, kind of like Game Pass, to get those subscribers back, because people are leaving for a reason, right? Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure Xbox keeps getting subscribers. They're not losing subscribers. They keep getting subscribers. So that's the thing, right? I think this is good that they lost subscribers, because now it's like, because first off, Game Pass was just like, here's Game Pass. There's regular Game Pass Ultimate, Game Pass PC. Before, it was a little confusing. I do remember there was Game Pass PC, but they just didn't know how to like word it, and they just said, all right, it's just Game Pass for PC and then Game Pass for Xbox, basically.
Right.
Sony made it way more confusing, and are like, we have 3 tiers, but the tiers don't all kind of sound the same, like Essential, Extra, Plus. It doesn't really... They were like better off just calling it Gold, Silver, Bronze. Like, that would have been just like
Facts.
easier. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I think this is good. It's going to help them readjust, and let's get some day ones in here. Let's get some day ones PlayStation titles in these packages. So
They've
that
already said they're not going to do that. Now,
they should.
Can that change because of this?
Think about if God of War Ragnarok was a day one. Everyone and their mother would be signing up for this crap. Every single person. That's how Game Pass really got their subscribers, honestly, was Halo. Halo Infinite launched on it, and boom, here we are. Yeah, I think they need to do something to change it up because it's getting stale.
Nasty Nate from the Trolls podcast says, I think people are weighing their subs, that or Game Pass, and just buying full games on their PS5. Possibly. Here's the thing. This sounds like a bad thing, right? But it's not, like you said, right? It's 100%. I don't think it's a bad thing. If anything, I think it's a good thing that, I mean, they've lost over 2 million people in subscribers, right? However, gaining 10% in revenue, at the end of the day, this is all about business and it's all about their shareholders, right?
Right.
Their shareholders are seeing the 10%. They're not caring for the 2 million subscribers that are lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they see that gain and they're like, okay, this is a company that we need to invest in, that we're investing in the right properties. So that to me says that it's a good thing for Sony that they might be also getting their revenue from other avenues, right? So, I mean, think about it. If they're doing, I know Sony talked a lot about having like PlayStation like live service games, right? In the future, they're kind of focusing more on their games that are live service. I think that's where they're going to be focusing more on their revenue sort of things, and then actually gaining more and although not gaining subscribers, but still gaining more of that money, that revenue that they need. They can also be doing things like the whole adaptations for games, right? Like we have The Last of Us coming out. We have a bunch of other games that they're kind of like working on that are like incorporating into movies and shows. Maybe that's another way that they're trying to like recoup that loss of subscribers in that sense. You know what I mean? I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm just thinking of things that they could have saw, but then made that into a actual way to make more money in different ways, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%, man. I agree with you. And I don't think Sony's lost here per se, but
No.
I found this graphic. Now this was from, I want to say March 2022. And I think this is pretty interesting because it shows all of the different platforms and their subscription services and how much they actually have.
Right.
So we have PlayStation Now at 3.2. Again, this is a little old, a couple months old, but you know, like it's still kind of like pretty accurate, right? As far as telling what's happening here. Paints a picture. So PlayStation Now 3.2, which I don't know, I feel like you would lump that right into PlayStation Plus because they're kind of like, they kind of combine the two together.
Sure.
So it's kind of, so I'm going to go ahead and lump that into PlayStation Plus. EA Play, 12 million, which nothing, like it's not bad, right? But at the same time, the service itself is like kind of meh, in my opinion. I'm not really crazy about it. And the launcher is kind of annoying. Then you have Game Pass, 25 mil. This one is interesting. Is Nintendo Online actually has more?
Wild, right?
At 32.
It just came out, I feel like last year or something, right?
Right. Again, this is March, so this is, I think this is just like, this is like before the expansion pass. I think this is just a normal Nintendo Online. I don't have the updated numbers for that. And now you have the King, which is 40, or PlayStation Plus, which is at 48 mil. What does this tell us? The fact that they lost subscribers since releasing this service. It makes sense that they made money because the different tiers are more expensive now.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
More money. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But if they never offered that, I mean, look at this. Like they definitely, they're doing something wrong if they're losing subscribers.
Well, like Nasty Nate said, right? It could be a thing. Whenever you change something in your service, right? People tend to kind of be weary about that, right? I mean, even if it's good, even Game Pass, I would assume people, when they first saw, oh, this is a Game Pass Netflix subscription type of service, they're like, I don't know about that. Like that might be like, are you sure? Like that's not gonna last. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's the price is gonna bump up. I think people are always skeptical because there's change, right? And that 2 million, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, might not mean too much for Sony. 2 million might be a lot for us, but I don't know how, like 40, like just think about it, right? Like 48, what is it? 48,000? No, 48 million subscribers, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 million is nothing in that scope, right?
Right.
So I think that is where people kind of like tend to fall back on when they're like, okay, well, Sony's doing a lot right now. They're doing like 3 different tiers. One's more expensive. And I mean, we even had this conversation where we're like, which tier should we get? Like, I don't play like old PS5, like PS2 games. So like, why should I get the most expensive tier? And so you kind of weigh your options there, and you end up either not revamping your subscription or maybe coming in at a later date, you know?
Yeah. The problem with charging a lot of money to be able to play old games can kind of backfire just because emulation is a thing.
Yeah.
And guess what? Emulation is free for the most part.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's going to stay.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like they kind of have to keep into account. Like, yeah, it's kind of more of a technical thing if you don't really know what you're doing. It's really easy for someone who knows their stuff, but like little Johnny who doesn't know how to set up an emulator and wants to play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on his Nintendo Switch, you know, it's easy for him to do it that way. But at the same time, it's like most gamers are technically savvy, so they're going to be able to do this. So they kind of have to take these things into consideration when creating these services and offering. Like I feel like they thought like, oh, because we're offering old games, you guys are automatically going to sign up for the service because you want to play those old games. Which exactly, again, like you don't really care to play like the old games, right?
Few things before we move on, though. You mentioned EA's launcher, right? What if Sony made their own launcher, which incorporated games that are able to be played on on your PC? Like you're able to like boot up PlayStation.
Oh, that would be amazing. I think that's the thing, right?
That's where they have to be going, right? Like that's the motive.
Well, Game Pass does that. That's why I don't have an Xbox Series X. I just if Game Pass wasn't a thing, I would probably have a Series X.
Right.
But because I
100%.
can just play it on my PC, why would I get one?
Right.
So now this is different question here. Is like all these people that wanted to play Sony titles but don't want to buy a PS5, let alone try and get one,
right,
can now play it. So
can now play it.
They really should make PS Plus on PC. Now, do you know what would just destroy and just completely obliterate all of these?
What's that?
If Steam released its own version of a Game Pass or a PlayStation Plus.
I don't think no.
It would bro.
Yeah, I agree. It would tear out. It would like destroy the competition, but I don't think that.
Oh, it won't happen. You know, it won't happen. But I'm saying if they did, everyone would be subscribed to that crap. Everyone and their mother who has a PC. Oh, free games. Not free. You're paying subscription, but like I have access to a bajillion games that I could never ever possibly like finish and have the time for.
Right.
Sign me up. Easy.
Interesting. It's very interesting to see how this all kind of like starts up. And also, this is Game Pass PlayStation Plus in general in the scope of like PlayStation 5 and PS4. So again, 2 million subscribers from that total of like the abundance of like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I don't see it that big of a deal in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I think this is actually a win for Sony with them gaining, obviously, like you said, because they've kind of ramped up their prices. So they're making more money.
We're going to talk about prices in a sec, in a little bit. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing for Sony because what we're about to talk about later is I don't know if it's
fair.
A win.
That's fair. So. That is fair. That is very fair. Any last thoughts before we move on, Rob?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure I canceled my PlayStation Plus because I didn't play it, I didn't touch it. So, and if I'm going to play Sony games, it's usually the AAA God of Wars, the big hitters, right? And I'm just going to pay $60 to play it or $70, however much it is now.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. Sony is not willing; they're not budging on the whole Game Pass mentality, like going full-fledged Game Pass, right? They're not putting their AAA titles on the PlayStation Plus service like we want them to. Will they ever? Who knows? But maybe the subscriber loss and maybe them at some point losing revenue will kind of push them a little bit more to get into that mindset. You know what I mean? But let's move on to news number 2. Ben Stiller channels his inner Kratos. This is fantastic, by the way. I need to put this up.
All right, I'm gonna pull it up for you right now. So I'm gonna actually mirror the sound so you guys can hear it because. Yes. But Kelvin, you need to be quiet or else there's gonna be a mean echo happening. So
you got it.
You got to be quiet during this trailer. All right. So I'm gonna
turn off my mic. How about that?
How about you just shut up forever? How about
That's
that?
fine.
I'm just kidding. That was mean. You don't have to shut up forever.
That's fine.
It's fine. That's fine.
Well, but while you get that up, let me just talk about this here real quick. So, God of War Ragnarok, obviously, you guys know, is coming out next week. And with that comes top tier marketing at this point. So the latest advertisement.
That's a great observation, John.
Before the game comes out, is called All Parents Can Relate. And it shows Ben Stiller dressed as Kratos, LeBron James, and John Travolta in a basically it looks like they're counseling each other, like a counseling session with their kids, and so it's just fantastic. Everything that they're doing, just go ahead and play it. It's great.
Yep.
Bella said that you'd think it was stupid.
No, I said I thought it was stupid.
Okay, you know what? This is good right here. I mean, the God of War dynamic plays out in every parent-child relationship. When that clicked for me, picked up my Leviathan axe, and felt truly close to my son for the first time.
I'm 17.
Exactly.
Leviathan, axe.
Ronnie, what's going on, man? You're a little quiet today. Anything to add?
No.
No is good. No counts. You know, Quinn was where you're at about a month ago, and look at him now. Okay, last night, 2 a.m., I'm laying in bed. What am I thinking about? Kratos.
Are you kidding? That's me, big time. That's common for me.
We believe you. Being too thirsty.
No, I'm hydrated.
Specifically, the time he tried to protect Atreus from Balder, and Atreus got so angry he shot Kratos through the chest with one of those, like that spiky thingy.
It was an arrow.
Arrow, right, spiky arrow thing. I mean, nobody can hurt you like your kids, right? LeBron?
Guess so.
What's going on beneath that headband?
I'm not even wearing one.
No, I know. You know. I mean, like, if you were.
When Bronny said he'd rather play against me than with me. Shot in the heart.
Really?
I think we call that a breakthrough. 2 shots you just can't block.
I can see that now, Ben.
I'm sorry.
Kratos.
I cannot believe I missed practice for this.
I want all the breakthrough. Ella, why don't you ever hurt my feelings?
Okay, you're old and you're bald.
Just like Kratos.
Now, John, last week you said you were finally ready to wear your Kratos outfit to the farmer's market. How'd that go?
Incredible. I had people pointing at me going, no, that's a really great dad.
That's not why they were pointing. You were wearing a buckskin loincloth.
Ella, it's not Buck, it's Bear. And I get those points all the time. People pointing, oh my God, look at that great dad.
So why aren't you wearing that stuff today?
Well, unfortunately, my armor bears the scars of a recent battle.
He spilled a bunch of salsa on it.
That can happen, especially with the leathers.
Exactly. Tattletale.
Look, if it was easy, every dad would be dressed like this, right?
Does the costume really help?
I don't know. Does the costume really help when you play basketball?
It is a costume.
And there we have it.
Oh my God.
All right. So
Thoughts?
real quick. Great trailer.
I'm crying. I had tears.
Yeah, they got the actors and to do it, and Sony's really honing in on like pop culture and really getting like big names out there to rep their brand, because that's what they want, man. They want to be in the movies. They have, obviously.
Right.
And it's just so random. Ben Stiller as Kratos. It's just so random.
Dude, this would have been a perfect like Super Bowl ad if it was like coming around that time. This is like 1000% like something that I would love to watch like in like a commercial and just like fucking laugh hysterically. That was perfect, dude. Perfect.
Yeah, it was like serious. The only thing I could take away from it is that it's not really a trailer. It's just like Ben Stiller. It's an ad, but like, and then you see the game for like literally, I think it's like 5-10 seconds of the actual game.
Dude.
So, Nasty Nate said, now, do you guys think they had to hold back the game because they had to make it available for PS4? Do you think it could have been way more awesome if it was just for PS5? First off, is God of War Ragnarok only for PS? Is it for PS4 and PS5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The answer. Okay, to me, this is. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here. Gotham Knights. They were like,
hard.
We can't. We're gonna cancel the last gen because of yada yada yada. Meanwhile, Santa Monica, God of War, they can do last gen, but Gotham Knights is too good to be last gen. Shut up. So,
I mean, playing devil's advocate, right? That game is a live service multiplayer game in a
Game is
sense.
a piece of
right?
shit is what it is. What?
Oh,
Sorry.
damn. Okay, all right, you're going for the neck there, dude. But that's a very loaded question, like you said, Nate. I think the game would. No, I don't think the game is hindered in any way because it's on PS4. I think, especially with Sony AAA, their first party title, like their first party studios, they know how to handle both platforms. You know what I mean? If it was like a third party studio, you can definitely see the difference, right? Like if you notice, like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed or anything like that with Ubisoft or whatever, there's a difference in terms of quality. But with Sony and their first party titles, they know where their limits are, and they know exactly how to make their titles kind of stand out in both platforms. I can't imagine God of War looking any worse or any better if they just strictly stuck with PS5. I don't think that would have been the case. I think Santa Monica knows exactly what they want to do, and they are like, all right, I'm not releasing this title until it looks identical to the PS5 version or vice versa, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think they did a good job by releasing it on PS4 as well, because a lot of people want to experience this game, and people still can't get a PS5.
Right.
There's people that still can't get it. So the fact that like people will still be able to enjoy this game without having to do that, it's kind of like what Zelda did with Breath of the Wild. Like, you didn't need a Switch at the time to enjoy it. You could play it on your Wii U. Yep. So I actually do enjoy when publishers do this, where like they kind of make it for both. They know that's hard to play the next gen. Obviously, 3 years down the line, 2 years down the line, yeah, make it exclusively for PS5 or whatever, right? It's already we're already in the console's life cycle, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so
I also like when it's in house, Sony knows how to work with the PS4. Sony knows how to work with the PS5. And by when I say Sony, I mean their studios, the developers.
Right,
so
right.
It'd be different if they were going. Obviously this would never happen if they were going multi-platform and they are working on Xbox, right? If like Sony titles were working on Xbox, that's a whole different like beast for them, right? Even though they're kind of like the same, they're basically PCs. So that would be different. But with going like transitioning from PS4 to PS5, I feel like it's a very easy task for them because they're used to the infrastructure, they're used to all that stuff with the console, so it's not that hard. And it's crazy how they're still pushing the boundaries for PS4. Like, I'm pretty sure God of War, it might look a little different, maybe a little worse on PS4, but it's still going to look basically identical. And it's
when you have
really
consoles like the
fucking
Switch out still, that's ancient too as well, right? And they're pushing stuff there, so I totally get it. I think they make the good call here about releasing it, the PS4 version as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it could have been also maybe again, God of War 2018, from what we understand based off of the developing cycle, they were making that game and they were like, they had to hold off on adding content to it because they're like, wait, we're making a sequel at this point. So let's hold off and kind of cut some of the content that we have on 2018 and make a sequel out of this. And I think that's where it came, because not all PS5 titles are compatible with PS4, right? They're not both on PS4. So I think that's what happened, where they had a lot of the assets on PS4, but because they kind of held off and decided to move on to the PS5 version, maybe they're like, all right, let's just kind of make it for both consoles.
100%.
This is a very good question though. For you, Rob, I'll ask you: do you think God of War Ragnarok will sell more than 2018's God of War?
Yes.
In the long haul,
Yeah, I think there's way more. There's way more excitement towards it. Especially just because with God of War, people didn't really know how to take it. Like, they're like, oh, it's just another God of War game. Right. Whereas this one, the God of War game established that it is a great game, and it's one of the best games we've ever played, in my opinion. Right? I don't know how you feel. So now I think Ragnarok is looking to improve on that. Again, God of War 2018 was them testing the waters of a new perspective. Now they know it works. They're going to go all in on this one. Right. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Last question for you here. Do you think it'd be more critically acclaimed than 2018's? Do you think it's going to score less or more than 2018 one?
I think it'll be more. I think it's going to, again, I think it's going to, if not be the same, I think 2018 is like a 9 for the most part, 8, 9. This might be a 10 out of 10, hands down.
Okay.
This is going to be next year because Game Awards is December, so this won't be part of the Game Awards this year, right?
It will.
It'll still be part of it.
I think the cutoff for Game Awards is like somewhere in the end of this month or like early December.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be Game of the Year easily.
I agree with Game of the Year. Oh, maybe we have Elden Ring.
We have Elden Ring. Yeah,
So maybe.
that's going to be so.
We'll
hard.
talk about that
Yeah,
once it gets closer to the Game
yeah.
Awards. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with you though. I don't think this game is going to be more critically acclaimed than 2018's. I think. I mean, obviously, it's going to be close, and it's going to be apples to oranges. Like, who gives a fuck? It's going to be like 95 2018 and 94 like 2022, right? But I think it's just for the most part, it's because it's something that, from what I've seen with some of the people that have already played the game and they're giving their thoughts and stuff, it kind of feels like a continuation of 2018's, which is fine. That's what we want, right? That's exactly what we want. But the difference with that is 2018 came out, and that completely changed God of War for everybody. That is where the franchise pivoted to a different, like, to outer space. You know what I mean? That new fresh feeling of like, holy shit, like this God of War has checked off everything different, complete, like combat different, storytelling different, just even the camera angle is completely different, like the way that they have no like full shot camera, like that is completely revolutionizing that game, and that was very different, energetic. This is going to be the same thing, so I feel like it's just not going to hit as, it's going to be great, but it's just not going to hit as hard as 2018's.
1, you're crazy. 2, Breath of the Wild. Do you think the same thing's gonna happen in Breath of the Wild too?
Yes, because of that. It's just human nature. I feel like it's like, yeah, this is a phenomenal game. It's probably going to be Game of the Year, but because it's already feels like we've done this already, it's not going to feel as exciting as much as
I think for movies that holds true, but for video games, I think it's a little different. You look at
Last of Us 2 though.
That's different. That's different.
How is that different?
I'm not going to get into spoilers, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why that game got the reviews it got and whatever.
I mean, I can't go on. The reviews are phenomenal. The reviews are great.
No, they're great. But there's a part within the game where you're like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. They really shouldn't have done that.
It was, yeah.
I think that's what killed the game. I don't think that's the reason why.
You think that's what killed the game? I don't agree.
I think that's what killed the game. I think that's what killed the game. If you guys all know what we're talking about, if you guys want to comment and agree or disagree, that'd be great. But
yeah, let us know. Let us know what you guys think, because this is like a cool heated question. Like I like this conversation because it again, no one is right. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what this game is gonna get. It's gonna do great. It's gonna sell well. I just don't think it's gonna have the same. Like if we're like going really into specifics, I don't think it's gonna be higher ranked than 2018.
All right. I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna clip this, and then I'm gonna post the scores after it comes out and be like, yeah.
Give it a few, like give it like a week or something, because
I'm gonna give it like I'm gonna show you like the IGN scores. I'm gonna show you the GameSpot scores. I'm gonna show you what the difference is.
All right. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I don't think it's gonna be on par with 2018's, and I don't like 2018's as much as everybody else. So I'm not giving myself any like perks on this. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You have a vendetta against 2018. There's something. You have something.
I'm replaying it right now, and I'm just like, it's fun, it's cool, but like right now, like the first level that you're in, like the first realm, I'm like I just want to let's go. I want to get out of here. Like I don't like this place. Like I don't know. It just feels weird. But again, that's just my personal opinion.
All right, we'll come back to that in a couple of weeks when it releases and we get some review scores.
For sure. On to news number 3 here with Henry Cavill no longer being. Is it, how do you pronounce the Witcher's name? Geralt?
Girl?
Girl?
Oh my God, you're butchering his name.
Geralt.
Geralt.
Geralt. I don't know. Obviously, I don't play Witcher, so there's that. So he's no longer going to be the character in Witcher series after season 3. So Very interesting conversation here. I am excited to talk about this. Rob, before we dive into this, have you watched all 3 seasons?
See, there's only 2 seasons out right now. Season
My bad.
3 is
Season
going to
3 is
be-
coming out.
Season 3 is coming out. Hasn't come
Okay.
out yet. And Nasty Nate says this
Coming in
is
clutch.
how you say it.
I'm still gonna butcher it. Geralt.
Geralt.
Geralt. Geralt. It's like you have to like really
Like hair, but
yeah, like that. Like Geralt. I don't know, whatever.
anyways, do you want to go ahead and read what he
Yeah.
posted?
So this is a post that he posted on Twitter last Saturday here. My journey as Geralt has been filled with both monsters and adventures and allies. I will be laying down my medallion and my sword for season 4. In my steed, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. He's talking gibberish right now, dude. As with the greatest of literacy characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and enthusiasm to see Liam take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men. So, I know for a fact, at least based off of what I've known from Henry, he's a huge Witcher fan, right? He's read the books. He's played the games, right? So he knows, he's embodied that character, right?
Right.
Why do you think, and I'll start with you right now, why do you think this is happening? What's going on in Netflix world right now?
So, 2 things, and I think it's in the notes here. I don't know if you're gonna read it off, but I'll just go ahead and say it. 2 things. He just reprised his role as DC Superman.
Right.
That's one, right? So that's a lot of time to go into filming. Probably goes to different locations. It's kind of ridiculous, and they're setting up kind of like a universe of that. So he's not probably just filming one movie. He's going to be in a couple different things.
Right.
That's one. So it could be like a time commitment thing.
Okay.
They're
But
also
it's not. It's not. I'm just
yeah. So you want to go ahead and say what are the people are saying, or what is the rumors?
There's rumors, there's theories, basically saying that there was a lot of not confrontation. There was a lot of back and forth of like where his character was going. From what it sounds like Henry wanted this character to be more tied to the books, more tied to just
games.
more to games, right? And so the writers that are doing this show kind of were straying away from that. And I have a quote here from one of the producers that actually left. He actually wrote, I think his name is Bu DeMayo, and he wrote, I've been on the show, quote, I've been on the show, namely Witcher, where some of the writers were not or actively disliked the books and games, even actively mocking the source material, DeMayo said. It's a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Fandom as litmus test checks egos and makes all the long nights worth it. You have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy, end quote.
Love that quote.
Beautiful. So there could have been a lot of, I wouldn't say heated arguments or anything like that, but just a lot of disagreements, right? And I think that was what made Henry kind of just like decide, or made it easier for him to decide to go onto DC and reprise his role as Superman.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what happened. I think he loves a character and he wanted to put all to it, and he was ready to do it, and this was his dream role, and Netflix and the producers there just completely butchered it, and he's just like, I'm not doing this unless it's done right, and you guys are not doing it right. Which I say by him, like, yeah, 100%. Like,
yeah.
You need to stick by the source material. If you deviate away too much from the source material, you get messes. You get things that are not accurate. You know what I mean? Like, people, and that's the audience. It's not like a new audience that hasn't even watched. It's gonna be the gamers. Like, those are people that are coming to see these things, and then the gamers, when they see it, they're gonna tell like their girlfriends, their whoever, to be like, you got to watch it, and then they get involved with it.
Right.
Exactly.
100%.
So if you don't get the trust of the gamers that they're gonna take this and treat it like, again, be like the games, you lost them. You lost, and I think he's a smart guy. He's a huge nerd. He knows the ins and outs of this character, so he should be the one calling the shots of what's happening.
Right. Especially when you have producers mocking the source material and just mocking the character themselves. if you're such a big fan of this character and you're embodying that character, you kind of feel like I'm kind of being disrespected to a degree, right? And it's like, why put myself through this situation when I can have many other roles, especially DC knocking out my door saying, hey, come reprise your role as Superman. It kind of makes it all that much easier for him to just kind of leave. You know what I mean? Did he want to leave? I don't think so. It didn't sound like he wanted to really leave. It just felt like maybe DC was giving him a little bit more money, right? More money to kind of like make it easier for him to make that decision. Maybe like you said in the beginning, where maybe time differences kind of like caused issues with that, like as far as like, you know, roles and stuff like that. So maybe that was the issue. But I mean, this isn't like a rumor, right? This is like an actual producer that was on the show that is stating this. So this is facts. So time can tell. It's crazy though. It's crazy.
We have a comment here from Sean Carlson Art. Unfortunately for the fans, I don't think Hemsworth is going to be well received, and it'll be the death of the show. Yeah, I agree 100%, man. It's whenever they do the switcheroo and they pretend it's like this is a character, never works out well, because it's just if switcheroos just don't work.
Yeah.
The only
sorry, real quick. What pisses me off is that they don't address it. It's just like they pretend like it never happened, and it's just like, we're not stupid. Like, this is fucking like, what is this? This is a completely different character.
The only person that could pull it off is Kojima. That's the only person that could pull it off, honestly, because I don't know how. Like, only him can pull off Raiden, and he did it somehow. So
not even, because you know my story. I thought my game was broken.
but that's what I'm saying. So like him, but I'm thinking of Spartacus. You remember Spartacus, that show?
Yeah.
The actor died.
Yeah.
I forget his name. RP. But and then they took the new actor and they literally were like, this is him, and it's like, that's not him.
Like that's not him, bro.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Like at that point, if you have the main actor, and we're gonna see in Black Panther how to do it correctly, because they're gonna do it correctly.
You think so? You think they will?
Yeah.
You think they'll pull it off?
They're gonna do it right. Like I said, they're not replacing the person. They're not replacing Chad Boseman. They're not Chadwick Boseman. They're not replacing him. They're going towards his legacy or keeping his legacy alive.
Right.
And not being like, oh, he didn't actually happen, or this is the same. No, they're making it where he existed, it happened, we're moving on from this. And this is what they should have done. They should have just been like, we're moving on. This is a different Witcher. But again, you can't really do it because that's the Witcher. Your old is Witcher. So
right.
Yeah.
Nasty Nate says that was only one season though, of Spartacus. This is after 3 seasons of Cavill.
Very, very true. You're 100% right. Yeah.
So the big question here is, Rob, is the Witcher Netflix series dead? Supposedly, I'm assuming there's 5 seasons in total, right? Based off of the book, right? There are like 2 seasons left, right?
Right.
Is Netflix The Witcher done for? Like, are people gonna just tune out?
I think people will watch the first couple episodes. They'll watch 1 or 2 just because they're interested. They want to see how he'll pull it off. And maybe there'll be some miracle where he'll be able to actually pull the character together. But it's not going to just be him alone. They need to flesh out everyone's story. They need to focus on Yennefer. They need to fix on Ciri. They need to really do a good job with those characters in order for him to succeed. But for the most part, just based on history, it's gonna fail. It's gonna fail because of this. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I only watched like 4 or 5 episodes of the first season, and what I found, it was interesting. It didn't grab me like the way I wanted it to, and so I kind of tuned out. But I definitely wouldn't want to see a different character. You know what I mean? I think Henry was pulling that character off great. You know, I think he did a great job. And a lot of people that are really into the show and really into the books and the game, they say that he did a phenomenal job. So for them, for him to leave and them kind of like change the character, it just doesn't. They've been so invested in this for 2 seasons. It's not going to feel the same.
No, you're 100% right. Exactly. So we'll just have to see what it comes out. I mean, we still get a season 3 of Henry. So it's not like he's gone already. Like, we're still going to get that. So we get to enjoy that, and he's going to go hard because that's his, last one.
Do you think this is going to make Netflix lose a lot of money?
Yeah, they're already
I'm sorry. This was a terrible segue to news number 4 here.
Oh my God.
PlayStation VR 2's price and release date confirmed. Arriving February 22nd of next year, we have the price for the PlayStation VR 2. Rob.
All right.
Drum roll,
Before we say it,
okay.
right?
Oh, yeah.
As far as what the price is, what did you think the price was going to be?
We talked about this like months ago. I don't remember what I said. I think I said $450. I think something like that. Obviously, we were completely off. I think you were off too.
Yeah, I did. I was not gonna. I did, yeah. So that gives you an idea of what it is. But yeah, Kelv, how much is a PlayStation VR headset if I want one?
Drum roll. I wish we had like a drum roll music. Anyways,
We have one. I just gotta find it. But yeah, just
ready. It is. Oh, I got a burping. Hang on. Priced at $550. $550 US. Now, the homie Nate, Nasty Nate, he lives in Canada, and that
Sorry,
I'm so
buddy.
sorry, Canadians.
Sorry,
you
buddy.
guys are getting shafted.
you get shafted. You always get shafted, man.
Tell us how much is in Canadian in Canadian dollars. How much is it for the PlayStation VR 2? Let us know. But yeah, so that's $50 more than the highest priced PS5 model right now. Nasty Nate says 750 Canadian dollars.
So
That's
expensive.
wild, dude. That's insane. That's fucking insane.
I said this earlier in our Discord chat. I said I want to know what the Sony execs are smoking, because that must be some good shit if they think this is a good price for this thing. Awful price for this thing. Absolutely horrid. I don't know what they were. I don't know. You're a fanny or PlayStation fanboy. A fanny. You're a PlayStation
fanny.
You're a PlayStation fanboy. So like, what do you think of this? You know, you're yeah.
I don't care. This is not for me. I mean, granted, I am not.
But you don't even think this is a bad move. You're not like, oh my god, this is a
yes.
bad move.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I'm saying for me, I wasn't gonna get this anyways. They had me at this is not wireless, and my issue with the first one, right? I think it was priced at $400 when it first came out, but which was whatever. But the fact that it was tethered to like 5 different wires, I was like, yeah, no thanks. You know, when like the Quest and whatever the Meta can do it like completely wirelessly, like that is a game changer. Now, for me, I thought the PSVR 2 was going to be completely wireless, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can get into the VR scape in the VR world and just kind of like see what it's all about, because I've never really put a VR headset on my head besides that day that we went to PAX years ago, you know.
Yeah.
But I never had a true, really, like a real experience with PlayStation VR or any VR for that matter. So this is not for me, because I was already tapped out. You know, I was already like just not about to get this. The price is outrageous. I think people, I've already seen the comments and on Twitter and all that. They're like, yeah, this is not happening. I'm definitely not going to buy this. So I don't know what's Sony's strategy when it comes to pricing this the way they did. I feel like, I don't know what is the. I mean, the tech obviously might be the reason for that, especially the fact that it's kind of like having a DualSense in your hand, like 2 DualSenses in your hand, right? So it's like it kind of ramps up the price, right? But man, they could have done something, cut some corners to like really bring it down at least to the 450 range, 475 range to make it sound a little bit more appealing, you know? I don't know, man. On top of that, you need a PS5. You need a PS5.
I love that part. I love that part right here. PS5 required. Like,
it's like you
could buy a Quest and it's standalone. You can just play it right then and there. Like, and it's cheaper than this thing. So like,
I saw something on Twitter. It said it was like a meme or something. It said you're buying a PlayStation VR headset to attach it to your PlayStation 5 as like your PS5 being like a second hand thing. Like your Vita, your PlayStation VR is like your main thing, as opposed to like your PS5 is like fucking enormous thing that you bought.
right.
It's outrageous. I think the fact that you need a PS5, the fact that you need these, and on top of that, that's not even counting the games, right? Like you have to purchase the game.
Out the door, you're already out over. You're hitting $1,000 plus tax, right? To get this set up. Then you got to buy the games, and usually VR games are very short. They're not very long. They they're not worth how much they usually charge for how much, especially Sony. I'm assuming Sony's going to charge $60 for Horizon VR. And then at this point, you're almost just better off just building a PC, a mid-grade PC, and it's like adding a VR headset to it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, consoles were made to be a cheaper alternative to PC gaming. Right? To be able to play
100%.
games at a good price point. They're flipping it now. They're like, no, now if you want to play on console, you have to pay. You want to play VR on console, you got to pay X amount of money. Whereas just like, again, I get a Quest and it's standalone. And it costs me $300, $400 at max, right? So I think they're just, I don't know, on crack or some shit, because this is crazy.
Well, a bundle was also announced, the one that you just showed here, and that comes with the headset, the Sense controllers, and stereo headphones. So just a reminder, it is also, like I said, it's a cord-based VR headset. So there's one cord tethered to the headset that you're able to connect to the PS5. So it's not like a free like roam experience like you would play with like the Quest, for example, right? The Meta Quest Pro, which is Facebook's like new iteration, is going to cost $1,500. So obviously that's way higher than what Sony is asking for. But is it really because you need a PS5, right? So it's like, I don't know.
If you want the charging stand for your PSVR, it's $50.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Also, the Horizon, I don't know if you still see the screen, the Horizon Edition PSVR, right? It's like a nice fancy box, right? You would think, oh, I'm going to get the game. It's just a code. Oh. It's just a code it just says voucher code for Horizon Call. So you don't even get the game itself. You just get the code for it. And yeah, this is dumb.
So PlayStation VR 1 came out in 2016 with a price tag of $400. To be fair, that did not come with any controllers. Obviously, the Move controllers were something that came out
it was kind of a jank, kind of a weird situation there.
Right. And Sony also announced 11 new titles for this. I didn't pull them up. I don't know if you could find them or not, but I don't know if it really matters. But they're not very appealing from what I saw.
I'm just gonna list them off real quick. I'm not gonna show. I'm just gonna I'll just tell you guys like what they are. But where the hell did I put it?
It's kind of concerning that you're not getting anything that is really something that makes you want to go, okay, this is worth my time. Like, I need to buy this. You know.
All right, this is it. The Dark Picture Switchback VR. I don't know what that is. Crossfire, the Light Brigade, Cities VR, Enhanced Edition. Hello Neighbor, Search and Rescue, Jurassic World Aftermath Collection, Pistol Whip VR, Zenith The Last City, Afterfall.
What is that? Can you imagine what game that is?
I don't know any of these games. I have no idea what any of these games are.
You're just pistol whipping people. Fuck. Yeah, none of those games really sound. This is just like completely new games that are specifically announced for PSVR 2, which, to be fair, they're dedicated titles to the PSVR 2. They're not like ports or anything, which cool, but very disappointing in the software side of things.
Oh yeah, I don't know anyone who's gonna. That's a lie. I know someone might get it, but for the most part, this is crazy. They're crazy for doing this.
I mean, they're kind of on a roll, right? With the PlayStation Edge too. They're also,
how much is that? 200?
That's another. That's $200. So
they're trying to be like literally like the Apple of like gaming consoles. Like, that's literally what they're trying to do. It's trying to be super premium with their shit, and it's just like, bro, like, I want to be able to just play my games, like, and not pay a left nut for it. Like, this is the
thing. This is the thing. I see it that way too, but I'm not as upset as you are about it, because it's an option for people to purchase it. It's like, okay, you can have, and no offense to anybody, I'm going to be one of these people too, but you can have the peasants that just have a DualSense controller, like a regular DualSense controller, or if you want to be a little bit upscale and upclass, you can have the Edge controller. Either way, you're still playing the same game, you're having fun. It's just an option if you want something
better. All of you guys peasants. That's, if you guys don't have a PS5, you're a peasant. That's just it. You're a peasant. That's pretty much.
That's what I like. It's options that Sony is giving out, and people are like, oh well, this is outrageous, like, then don't buy it. I mean, it's like, whatever, like, I have 3 controllers, why do I need the Edge controller? Or I don't feel like the VR headset is worth my time.
No, you're 100% right. Like I don't need to purchase these things. They're not
Yeah.
necessary for me to enjoy the console. You hit the nail on the head. But I'm saying it from just like a business standpoint, and if they really wanted this thing to succeed and get mass market to have people adopt these things and make if it was $300, I could see a lot of people. I might pick one up for $300, right? I play it. I'd freaking be like doing that whole thing. You know what I mean? Why did I do that? I don't know why I did.
What that was, but I get
I
what
don't
you're
know
saying.
why I did that. That was
get
weird.
what you're saying, dude.
Yeah.
That ends our news for the week here, ladies and gentlemen, with the little motions that Rob did there. Let's move on to our segment, in-game chat.
All right, what's
Now-
the topic for today?
Topic for this week.
Hit me.
A little fun because of Ragnarok coming out next week. I want to rank every God of War game from your least favorite to most favorite. Now, have you played all of them? I don't know if you have or not. But.
The only one I think I haven't played was probably Ascension, and
Really?
Ascension, which is the one where it's like a prequel, I think.
Yes.
And Chains of Olympus. I haven't. That was on PSP. Those are the
I've
only
never
two.
played. Same. I've never played Chains of
Okay.
Olympus. That's the only one I haven't played.
Okay.
Oh, I lied. We'll get. Let's go through the.
Yeah, go through
all
what's
of
the
them.
list?
So, first one, right? God of War, 2005, right?
Right.
Classic. God of War 2, 2007. God of War Betrayal,
What the hell is God of War Betrayal?
2007. It's a mobile game,
Oh, it doesn't
and
count.
so it does count. It's another God of War game, and it actually gives you more insight on Kratos.
Okay.
So that was a thing. I've never heard of it.
That's gonna be ranked
so
last.
that's another one that I never played.
Okay, okay.
God of War Chains of Olympus, never played. 2008. God of War 3, 2010. God of War Ghosts of Sparta, 2010.
That's a PSP one, right? I think
It
it's a
is,
PSP
but it
one.
also
Yeah.
was ported to the PS2 or something. So that's how I played. it
Yes,
somehow.
yes. You're right. Hmm.
God of War Ascensions, 2013. God of War 2018. And, of course, God of War Ragnarok, which I don't know if I should have put that one there because we haven't played it yet. So, but, you get the gist of it. So, Rob, I want to start with you, obviously. What do you think, from least to greatest, what's the worst God of War game you've played?
I can't rank Betrayal because I haven't played it, but being a mobile game, I'm a mobile gamer, so I'm gonna put that dead last. I'm not gonna rank them each individually. I think God of War 3 is probably
Wait,
top.
okay, but I said least. Start from
least.
your least.
Okay.
You scared me there.
Okay, God of War, Betrayal, God of War, Chains of Olympus, then Ghosts of Sparta. The PSP ones were okay. Then let's do the main line, Ascension, and then it's God of War 2, God of War 1, God of War. It's hard doing God of War 3 versus God of War the original. Or God of War 2018. It's so hard because God of War 3 was just so ridiculous and over the top and just anger, and it was awesome, but 2018 was also I think 2018 is a better game. Better story, better game. I had to put God of War 3 on top. That game was so ridiculous.
Okay.
It's a memory and it is. Yeah, I know. I didn't fail you. You're proud of me, right?
I'm very proud of you. Yes, I'm very proud of you, dude. So what's your top? What's the tippity top there?
God of War 3 and then God of War 2018. But they're close. They're so close, and they're completely two different games. God of War 3 still.
So
What about
before I do mine, oh my God, it's Birdie says, I thought God of War Ascension was different, especially when it brought multiplayer to the game. This is the homie, the Birdman. And for those I don't know, I've played with Birdman since like 2010. Like we've been friends for quite some time. Bird, I remember playing Ascensions with you, and the multiplayer, I remember it being fire. I remember it was dope as hell. It was just fun. It was like just brainless. It was just like, it wasn't anything like special, but it was just like the way that you're able to upgrade your character and get like cool different like power moves like during combat. Like I thought
it was like
fun.
gladiator fights. It was just gladiator fights.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
gladiator fights, and I'm like, this is fucking dope, and no one is talking about it. Like, what's happening? And come to find out, everyone thought Ascension was trash. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in the minority.
Ascension was PS3. It wasn't actually PS2. I thought it was PS2, but it's a PS3 game.
PS3,
Yeah,
PS3. Yeah. And so, yeah, me and Bird had fun, like tons of fun playing that game. Like I remember playing a lot with him. So that was a thing. That was fun. For me, I think God of War. If I had to say my least favorite, it would probably be Ghost of, or maybe
Sparta.
Ghost of Sparta, and then God of War 2005. It kind of like set the pavement, set the bound, like the benchmark
put the blueprint and everything down and stuff like that. Yeah, the foundation for it.
If you go back to it, it's just kind of like it's fine.
Yeah,
Aged pretty badly. Then you started getting into God of War 2, which was phenomenal. It was like towards the end of the PS2 era, and that was really good. Like it actually, I felt like it was a better version of God of War 1, obviously. But then God of War 3 hit so much for me. And this is my struggle right now with 2018, where it's like I'm comparing it to God of War 3, and a lot of the things that 2018 or the God of War 3 did, 2018 can't, like, just didn't do. You know, the big scopes of like these like running on Titans and like doing these insane brutal kills. You don't get that in 2018. You don't get any of that like real like blood.
Right.
Like,
you get like a
mean?
cinematic story from 2018.
Right. And you get kind of like a toned down version of Kratos, you know?
Right.
Which is fine. I get that's what they were going for, right? They like this is a Kratos that has kind of like went away.
He's mature.
From all that.
Yeah.
He's trying to be a better person for his son, and I get that. But man, God of War 3 hit, man. Like just killing like Poseidon and all of that, dude.
I think God of War Ragnarok will win you over if you get a glimpse of that. If they give you a little bit of that where he loses his shit, and like, I think you'll flip your script. I think you'll be like, yes, this is what I wanted. They did it. And I hope he does it. I hope at one point, like, something happens to Atreus or something, like he's badly injured, or like Thor is like beating the crap out of him. And Kratos, because again, he's a dad now. So like, if you fuck with like his kid, he's going to lose. You know how dad is. You're a dad, right? So like, I hope we like see him just like, just
you get a glimpse of that in 2018, right? Where at one point in the beginning, Atreus gets like kind of kidnapped, right? He gets taken away, and it's like you have to go into rage mode in that particular scene, because he's just like fucking losing his shit at that point, you know?
Right. So I'm excited for Ragnarok. I'm so excited to see what's gonna happen, and it hasn't been ruined for me yet, so we'll see.
Same. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Ascensions, because I feel like that is the redheaded stepchild for some reason. I stick by Ascensions. I think it was a very good game. It wasn't a very great God of War game per se, but Ascensions still hit the mark for me. It did some things different. It just tried to be a little bit too different and try to steer away a little bit more from the main God of War. You know what we're used to with gameplay and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
But again, the multiplayer was what really stuck with me, and actually, I played that multiplayer for quite some time. Like even after I beat the game, I'm like, I was still playing the multiplayer. So that was fun. And so for me, I would probably put God of War 3 as my top, and then I would probably put God of War 2, and then maybe Ascensions as my.
Where are you putting God of War 2018? You're putting under those?
Oh, I'm sorry, 2018, and then Ascensions. Ascensions is my pick. So
it scared me.
It's like my third right now.
Sean said, I'm guessing by the end of the new series, it'll bring back the epic feel. Norse mythology has some crazy world-ending scale stuff to it. You are 100% right.
That excites me right there. You know what I mean? That excites me right there.
So I hope you're right, Sean. I hope you are right.
You guys, let us know what your favorite God of War is. Let us know what's your top, what's your least favorite. Have you played God of War? Are you excited for God of War Ragnarok? Let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter. Just shoot us a message. Let us know. We want to talk. We want to talk about these stuff, especially with the hype train that is God of War Ragnarok coming out next week. Tomorrow, actually, they're releasing the embargo, so we'll be able to see a lot of the actual full review. So I'm excited for
I'm
that.
scared. I don't want any spoilers. I'm going to try to avoid some of those if I can. But, Kelv, I have one thing before we end the show. We're in the show here in a sec. But I have a question. I have a would you rather question. I came up with one for you.
Okay.
All right. So this is the would you rather question. Would you rather only be able to play games in VR? So you have to put a virtual reality headset and you have to play all games like that. So every single console game, every single like PC, like Call of Duty, you got to play it all in VR with the technology we have now.
Okay.
Or you can only play it on a handheld like a Switch or a Steam Deck. You can never use a monitor or TV ever again to play a game. You have to use VR. You either get to always play it in VR or you always play it on a small little screen like a Switch.
I would probably stick with the handheld version of anything. I'm already used to that now, sort of, right? With Steam Deck and Switch. I would be totally okay playing God of War on Steam Deck. I'd be totally okay playing Call of Duty on my Steam Deck. You know, like, I'm comfortable with a handheld. Now, VR, like I said before, I have never really fully engulfed myself in a VR headset and played like Resident Evil 7, for example, where I've heard it's really good, but I've just never tried it. You know what I mean? So I would probably have to say
A handheld?
handheld all the way. Yeah.
Okay.
Or I think you would pick the same.
I think I would say the same, but I think I would change my answer if ask me that question in 10 years when VR is more developed. Maybe I switch it to VR. Like 10 years from now, if VR is like a completely different thing and everything's basically on VR and VR headsets are like the norm, maybe I probably do
I'm
VR.
surprised it's gotten this far. You know what I mean? I'm surprised Sony's investing this much money on
I think it's a thing. I think it's gonna be a thing. It's
Otherwise,
definitely a
you wouldn't be
thing.
doing it.
It's just taking very, very long because the headsets are the technology is still very expensive. It's not mass market yet.
Right.
Because you are tied to a bunch of things. Once it becomes mass market and once people will start adopting it a lot more. But we'll see.
We'll see. We will have to see. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening and chiming in. We really do appreciate that. This has been episode 94 of the Gaming Duo podcast. Rob, any closing thoughts?
Thank you everyone who joined on the live stream. I appreciate all of you. Questions, Nasty Nate, Sean Carlson, Birdman. Awesome. Sean, again, I have your art. I haven't put it up yet just because I moved into a new house, but check Sean Carlson art. He has a lot of cool stuff. Just a little shout out there. Check out the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast.
Yes,
again,
for sure.
Those guys are awesome. It's always a good time.
Entertaining, yeah.
Seriously,
sure.
like you'll be entertained the whole entire when you're listening to them. So again, it's the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast on Spotify, any of your streaming service. So that's all I have.
All right, guys. Until next week.
Until next week. Adios.